Global Broadcasting Networks presents Military Mom Talk Radio. We know behind every strong soldier, sailor, airman, and Marine is the family supporting them. With over 200 episodes in 17 countries, over 5 seasons, with 3 million monthly listeners, we are radio strong. We're here to share resources and experts on topics important to you, the military family. Join us. We've got another great episode starting right now. Here are your hosts, Sandra, Beck, and Robin Boyd.
We know now that we get some male listeners, Rob, on Military Mom Talk Radio. And I say this because I was looking over our stuff from the last calendar year, and I didn't realize how many men comment. They write in. So I don't know, Military Mom Talk Radio might have to be just Military Talk Radio from now on.
Or Military Family Talk Radio. We really do cover the whole family. We've talked with kids, we've talked with grandmas, we've talked with a lot of family members. So it is for the family. And boy, isn't it true? It's the family who serves. We've said that over and over again.
Over and over again. And, what we're going to talk about today, Rob, is, it's one of my favorite topics. Anytime we get into health and fitness, I get all excited and all giddy. And, one of the things that I hear over and over from our military, especially our military moms, I'm just going to say it, is that, they're functioning like me as a single mom, and weight gain is just, it seems to come with the territory. And then now that a lot of the husbands, and I'm just going to speak from my own personal experience with my friends, now that their husbands are not on these long-term deployments, they've had to adjust again. But what they found is adjusting to having their partner at home from deployment means that they're eating a lot more. They're eating with their families, eating with their husbands. And of course, before that, they were eating out of depression and loneliness. So, take your pick. But getting things under control or figuring out a program. And Rob, you know this better than anyone. I have tried every weight loss program out there, from Advocare to Nutrisystem to, what is the other one? Weight Watchers. I've gone through all these different things. And one of the things that I found is it's really easy to get confused, but pulling the best of all these programs have really helped me live a healthier lifestyle. Now, granted, my weight is not down where I want it to be, but I feel great. And that to me is much more important than, I would love to wear a smaller size, but not that withstanding, there's got to be a balance.
Yeah, the smaller size, quote unquote, and obviously Dr. Laurie is certainly going to set us straight on this theory. I think the difficulty is not everybody is that going to be a supermodel look. Not everybody has that lean, straight up and down boy. Some of us have curves, and the thing, like you say, and I think it's not so much the weight, it's the fat, your BMI, and if your body is maintaining a healthy BMI, you could be a size 14, but if you're tall like you are, and I'm not saying that that's your size, but what I'm saying is wherever
I'm a 12, 14 right now. I'll say that right out loud. And when I swam all the way up to college. Competitively, I was a size 14 and I weighed 175 pounds. Now, granted, I didn't have a period and I didn't have a whole lot of fat on me, but I'm never going to be a 6.
But look at your muscles. I mean,
I can lift a couch.
That's right. You are such a physically strong woman. Of course, that's going to show on the scale. But is that going to show, when somebody looks at your profile and your silhouette? You've got a beautiful silhouette because you're tall, you're proportionate, and you have the right balance where it needs to be. And I think our country, especially our young people, are growing up to, and we don't have to go into the whole Barbie syndrome, but when you have girls that are growing up with this ideal magazine mentality that that's what they're looking at and that's what they aspire to. I'm really very happy that so many either magazines or publications and now even Barbie are really trying to make that effort to control the muses that girls are looking toward.
Absolutely, and I'm living proof of the Barbie syndrome. I have fought it for years. It doesn't help that I look like Barbie; it makes it even worse. But one of the things that I will say, I read Dr. Lori's book last year. I've done a bunch of shows with her because I am a big proponent of this. Now, Dr. Lori has not paid to be on this show. She hasn't paid me for anything to promote her stuff. I promote it because I'm a raving fan, Rob. And one of the reasons that I'm a raving fan is her book was a big part of me kicking my Diet Coke habit. Now, for... At least, I can go back to when my other son was born, at least 12 years. I've had a Diet Coke every day at 4 o'clock. Sometimes I have one for breakfast, and I reach for them when I'm frustrated, when I'm tired, when I'm overwrought, like when I'm happy, when I'm sad. There really isn't any rhyme or reason. And one of the things that I read in her book was about, these diet sodas and stuff, but more about like the dehydration, the sugar and the artificial sweeteners. And I'm not just blaming Diet Coke. I'm blaming my lifestyle. But I have been successful in ridding myself of that addiction or that habit. And the funniest thing happened recently, Rob. This was just on Friday. I kid you not. On Friday, I had one of those days where, Zachary had tap class. Max had his Valentine's Day dance. I was the chaperone. The dog was sick. Like, it could not have been a busier day for me. And so when I picked up the kids for school, Max looks at me, he goes, "Mom, you need a Diet Coke." And I said, "You know what? I do need a Diet Coke." Because, my hair was every which way. And, I look like the typical, train wreck Beck that I can be. And we went and the kids got a soda after school, which I don't normally do, but it was the big Valentine's Day. I'm like, okay, well, we'll do this. I got my Diet Coke. Well, it didn't do it for me. It didn't taste good. I didn't have that that I normally would have just sipping on the straw of this stupid thing. But I knew at that point that I had beat it. I made a choice to have one because I thought, you know what? I haven't had one in months. I think that'll be great. But I didn't get the same reward. And honestly, how many years I've been trying to kick my Diet Coke habit?
I know. It has been it's as if it were nicotine. It is just that kind of a habit. When the kids were little, I would never buy either the small bottles or cans because they would take 3 sips out of it and throw it away. So that was my way of portioning everything. So if we did have to have a quote unquote bad drink, we'd pour it into a glass and have the small, 3 ounces. That's all you get.
Well, that's what we had growing up. My parents used to buy, I remember the Orange Crush and the Grape Crush bottles. They were like glass. And, on Sunday night, like not every Sunday night, but we would order a pizza. Now, granted, we were country and we were rural, but we would order a pizza. That was a big treat for us. And then we would have, like I always loved Orange or Grape Crush because I used to dip my crust in it and it was like the most delicious thing. But that was like every month, like it wasn't every week, whatever. And because of Dr. Lori too, and Dr. Rona Brennan, I have to give credit where credit is due. I have eliminated buying soda completely. Now, granted, for the Super Bowl, I bought some. Do you know each kid had a glass? I didn't have any. My dad didn't have any. And my dad has also kicked his Diet Pepsi habit, which is going on like 50 years, or whenever Diet Pepsi came. I can only remember my dad ever drinking Diet Pepsi, and now he doesn't at all.
That's fabulous. And there again, of course, we are in our 60s over here, and Stephen and I both are having a harder time kicking habits in that we've been living this life for 60 years, 65, whatever years. So when you have that kind of history, it's all the harder. So kudos to your dad, who is a little older than we are, for actually being able to modify his diet and be able to move on a more healthy plan.
Well, I read this book, the Dr. Lori's book, How to Fight Fatflammation, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And I've highlighted it, it's dog-eared, it's all beat up. And I would share with my dad and my kids what we learned. And, we've changed some of our recipes because of Dr.
Mm-hmm.
Lori. And one of the things that both Dr. Lori and Dr. Brennan said, my dad had terrible IBS, like irritable bowel, and probably because of 50 years of soda. Mm-hmm. Who knows what else? But, either Dr. Lori or Dr. Rona, I can't remember who told me that my dad needs to give his colon and his intestines a break. And one of the things was to remove all this soda. So I said to my dad, let's try it. Do you know it has cleared up completely? I mean, I don't want to say miracle, but he used to have to run to the toilet. Now he's 82. And, running to the toilet when you're 82 is not as easy as it sounds.
Right.
So there were accidents and things like that happened. Sure. And we don't have that anymore. We can go out for a hamburger or go out to dinner as a family. And because there's no diet soda consumed, the bowel doesn't have that move through. That's the one thing we identified that irritated him the most. And any of you caring for elderly parents, let me tell you, when you don't have accidents, boy, what a difference your day makes.
It's a relief in more ways than one. Yeah, it is harder. And our whole metabolism changes, after you're in your 60s. It's so tough. So, I'm looking forward to talking to Dr. Lori.
I am too. Her book is How to Fight Fatflammation, the revolutionary 3-week program to shrink the body's fat cells. But I'm here to tell you, I didn't take the 3-week program. I took it and made it like the 12-month, a year program because it makes so much sense.
Yes, absolutely. And on the other side of the break, we've got a break coming up, San. So we're going to wrap up this segment. We're going to be talking with Dr. Lori Shemek on the other side of the break. We are very fortunate. She has been with us before, so definitely take a listen to our past shows. But we'll also talk a little bit more about this whole reformatting our whole lifestyle, because it isn't just something that you do for a few weeks and then you're done. You do have to adopt this and change your lifestyle. And Dr. Lori has the best ways and tips and ideas to help us get right back on that good track. So we're going to be talking, and again, if you want to take a look at her website, Dr. Lori Shemek is as DrLorisHemek.com if you want to take a look at that while we're chatting here today, and also Fatflammation.com. We've got lots more ahead. Stay with us on Military Mom Talk Radio.
If you're ready for a big change in your work, your career, your happiness, your life, it's time for the $1 Million Mindset with Marla Tabaka. Monday afternoons at 2, 1 Central on TogiNet.com. Marla believes that with the right mindset, anything is possible. Join us as successful life coach Marla Tabaka inspires you and her clients to explore, discover, and live your dreams by developing what she calls the $1 Million Mindset. Marla will inspire you to take action on your dreams and reveal secrets to success that will help you realize your own unique power. Tune into the $1 Million Mindset for heartwarming stories with Marla Tabaka. Learn tips and tricks to building a successful business and unlock the secrets to creating a happier, more balanced life through abundant thinking and attraction power. For more information on the $1 Million Mindset, go to our website, marlatabaka.com. That's MarlaTabaka.com. It's the $1 Million Mindset with Marla Tabaka. Monday afternoons at 2, 1 p.m. Central on TogiNet.com.
Information about book publishing is power. The power to change your authoring life. And the power to change the lives of your readers. So join us for Your Guide to Book Publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 Pacific. You'll hear about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now. As the book shepherd, Dr. Judith Briles is in. And each week, she will include publishing professionals that will reveal tips and secrets to the author's journey. If there is a book in you want to listen, learn, and yes, call in with your questions each week. For more on Judith and what she can do for you, check out her website, thebookshepherd.com. It's your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. Brought to you by Author You and the Book Shepherd, with your host, Dr. Judith Briles. Thursday evenings at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific.
We're back with more great conversation on Military Mom Talk Radio.
Hi, ladies. This is Sandra Beck, and I'm here with Robin Boyd, and we are visiting today with Dr. Lori Shemek. Now, she has a book out called How to Fight Fatflammation, this revolutionary 3-week program to shrink the body's fat cells. I am a raving fan. I'm also a raving idiot when it comes to eating, and I poisoned myself yesterday at the Super Bowl, but I'm back on track today. I totally did, Rob. I went and tested my blood sugar. As you guys know, I'm a diabetic, so my blood sugar was 172. It's normally 99 when I eat properly. So it was 172 this morning. So that was pretty bad. Shows you what I did yesterday. But the most important thing, guys, with this book is you don't need a PhD to understand it. It's got charts. It's got things put really easily. I always like Rob to explain to people what they're looking at, because some of these diet books that I've read over the years, or these lifestyle change books, like, and people we've had on the show, I can't understand what they're trying to tell me. And the biggest thing I took away from Dr. Lori's book, I was a big calorie counter. Then I was a protein counter. Then I was a carb counter. Now I'm a carb counter, but I thought by reducing calories, I would lose weight, and I didn't. And I don't know if you've ever had that experience, Rob.
Mm-hmm. My father-in-law was a physician when he was living, and that was one of the things that he was such a proponent of, is this yo-yoing, because you have to kind of plateau your body, stay at that level, get to another level, stay at that level. Otherwise, your body tries to, and Dr. Lori may speak on this, your body tries to get back to what it thought was normal. So if you're throwing different plans at it, or different, trying to attempt to do one thing or another, it's going to say, are you kidding me? No, I'm going back to where I'm comfortable.
Oh, well, I was just sitting here thinking of like how much my life has improved. And I'm not trying to tout this as like the miracle drug, the miracle book, but it is a miracle. I will say that I got off my Diet Coke habit. And as I started implementing some of these things in Dr. Lori's book, Rob, I slept better. I feel better. I have more energy. And, I really have been able to live a better lifestyle as a result of these changes, because I really did believe that a calorie was a calorie was a calorie. And I would eat, I would measure out my portions, and I would eat bread, and I would eat cheese, and I would eat these things and think, a lot of bread. I didn't count the carbohydrates. I only counted the calories. And I'm like, I am living on 1,300 calories a day. How is it I am not losing weight? And Dr. Lori, I want to ask you, why is a calorie, not a calorie?
Well, first of all, counting calories, what I now call the calorie myth, is based on old science from the 1950s. Okay, that's a long time ago. And since then, we have a plethora of research that shows that it's not about the calories so much as it is the types of food you eat. It's more about the quality of the food versus the quantity of the food. So if you think about 100 calorie candy bar versus 100 calories of broccoli, there's a vast difference in how the body metabolizes it. So the broccoli has phytochemicals in it. It has fiber in it. The phytochemicals saturate the cells in the body, especially the fat cells that create healthy cells. And in terms of the fat cell, it helps the fat cell release stored fat, as opposed to an unhealthy fat cell that just holds on to stored fat and never lets go. So we want, the foods really are the way to go in terms of losing weight. You need your diet is roughly about 80% in terms of weight loss success.
Well, and Dr. Lori, one of the things that happened, and I'm just going to be kind of gross here, but I'm not jiggly anymore. Like, that's the one thing. Like, yes, I still have extra, fat on me, and I'm working on that. I have that belly fat. I have like the warm puppy that sits on my lap when I sit down, kind of like, my gift from my children, basically. But I'm not jiggly. Like, I used to, like, I do a lot of physical stuff with my kids. I would run and play soccer, and I would kick the ball, and like the baby pouch would kind of go with the ball and come back. There was like a jello-iness to my underarms, like to my side of my boobs, like weird places. It was like watery fat. And that has, I think, really gone down a lot. My ring size and my shoe width has gone down. I can feel the difference. What is that, like, gooey, do you know what I'm talking about?
I do. Yeah, what it is fat. And it's fat and water retention combined. So when you are eating the right foods, your diet's on track, you are absolutely going to create better skin. You're going to create skin with integrity that's tighter. You're going to not have as much sodium in your diet. And so this is very important in terms of your overall health as well. We used to think calories were the king. And as I mentioned earlier, it really isn't about that. It's more about the quality of the food. So you take diet soda, for example. Diet soda has 0 calories, yet it triggers hunger, it triggers cravings for many people, and it stores fat. It promotes fat storage. So people, when they're trying to lose weight, will always have typically a diet soda on hand, and they're wondering, why can't I lose weight? And this is one of the reasons. These chemicals in these sodas are subtle but not so subtle, if you will. So very important not to put anything that is especially 0 calories that has chemicals in it in your body.
That's like, because I like and I'm not, please don't sue me, Swiss Miss and these companies that, there's some things that I do like when it's cold out, I like the Swiss Miss Light, it's like a hot chocolate mix, and it has like 25, 30 calories. And the same thing with I have a cafe latte sometimes that, when it's cold, not every day, but I have a spoonful of that stuff in a huge jug of water. I know that's bad for me, you know what I mean? But I'm not perfect.
Not really. I mean, if let me just say this. If you're about 90%, 80 to 90% okay on your diet, whatever, foods you're choosing to eat or lifestyle choices, then you're good to go. I mean, you can have that piece of cake, or you can have every so often something that you really love and not worry one bit about it. And that's because, and we can go into that later, you're taking care of areas in your body, such as your insulin sensitivity. You're taking care of your liver health, which is key because it's your number 1 fat-burning organ, and your gut health, which is also directly related to your weight gain and loss. So, you can have those things once in a while and not have to drive yourself crazy with guilt and also desire for them.
Well, and I want to talk about that, Lori, because a weird thing happened when I started doing your program last year. And I'll admit, I'm not perfect on it. I'm not rail thin, and I struggle with it just because the prep is a little hard for me at times. But what happened, this is like a weird thing, what happened to me on the way to the loony bin is, and I found this yesterday when I poisoned myself yesterday at the Super Bowl party. The stuff that I used to love last year, Lori, like my go-to, I would go to Fritos and dip were like my absolute favorite. The French onion dip, like we had when we were, it's total comfort food. Right. I ate that and it made me sick. It was too salty. It was
there you go.
And my stomach.
There you go.
Boil. And I will say, last night I went to bed, Lori. I had a terrible night's sleep. I was tossing and turning. I ate an Almond Joy. I like these Almond Joy kind of brownie things. Then I had some Fritos and dip. We had cheese popcorn. I had a Diet Mountain Dew because that was the only soda, the only drink.
Okay, wait a minute. We're supposed to be talking about losing weight here. Making people hungry.
It was. But here's the Lori, is normally I would have loved that stuff and felt like, oh my God, I had the best time. I had a rotten night's sleep. The stuff boiled in my stomach all night long. I still feel like drunk from yesterday, but I didn't even have a beer. Mm-hmm. And so I think I've changed.
Oh, definitely. You absolutely have. It's, it's very similar to when you have created better mental health, if you will, better emotional health in your life. And the slightest thing that goes off in your life, a little bit negative, is very magnified. Okay, the same thing is true of the human body. When you are taking care of your health, I hear this all the time, when people go off, if you will, off path for even just, like you said, just for those few hours, they absolutely feel the effects of it. And that, what you're feeling is inflammation. It's very, very apparent. And that's the problem. You get used to it after a while if you keep it up. It becomes rather subtle, and then eventually you don't even recognize it. And that's why people live their lives. They'll have little aches and pains here and there, but for the most part, they don't realize the low-level inflammation that's going on in the fat cell itself, too.
Until you feel good. Like, I felt really good all week, and then I didn't feel good.
And it's
Rob,
so magnified.
have you ever done that?
Oh, yeah. I think we all have. I mean, how many times have we said, oh, I know I shouldn't eat this, but I have some food allergies, for example, and every so often I'll accidentally have some, and then it takes 2 days to get back. So then it's sort of like, the Pavlov dog. Oh, I'm not going to do that because it's going to hurt after. I'll learn from that. And I think we'll have to talk when we get back on the other side of the break about the cravings, because there has to be a substitute, or there has to be some kind of a replacement, because if we are absolutely craving something, and to be able to get into this better pattern, I think we should talk probably a little bit about how do we substitute, and what can we do to sort of get ourselves to start feeling that better. We want to listen to Sandra all the time, because she's the walking testimony here of Dr. Lori's book. So we certainly want to get back to all of this on the other side of the break. We're talking with Dr. Lori Shemek today. She's the author of How to Fight Fatflammation, and we'll have her explain what that term means, actually. There is something to fatflammation, and we want to hear all about it. If you want more about Dr. Lori herself, her website is drlorishemek.com. Lots more on the other side of the break. Stay tuned. We've got lots more ahead. Stay with us on Military Mom Talk Radio.
Listen, something is brewing. The beautiful business evolution is coming. The way we do business is about to change. For the better. Forever. This is real business at its very best. On Beautiful Business Radio, you will learn what it means to truly prosper, how to nourish yourself and your business, how to earn what you deserve and make a difference in the world. The tide is rising, the change is here. Discover a new way to live, love, and partner with yourself and your business on Philippa Rowlands Presents Beautiful Business Radio, where you matter and your business thrives. Every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, only here on the Woohoo Radio Network.
In today's business world, a helping hand or idea that doesn't come with an invoice is a treasured find. And if that happens to you, then you need to pay it forward to keep other entrepreneurs from making mistakes or getting a raw deal. It's called Paying It Forward with Josephine Girassi, Wednesday mornings at 9 a.m. Central. Josephine is going to have the guests describe their accomplishments, the lessons they've learned, both good and bad, and then sharing those pieces of knowledge as we create a movement of paying it forward. For more information about Josephine, her business, and background, you can go to mymomknowsbest.com. Josephine Girassi has always been a problem solver. She saw this need and has turned it into a movement. It's Paying It Forward, with tips, tools, and advice and hard lessons learned. These pieces of knowledge can make a huge difference for you, your business, and others. So join us for Paying It Forward with Josephine Girassi, Wednesday mornings at 10 a.m., 9 a.m. Central on TogiNet.com.
We're back with more great conversation on military.
Hey, military moms. This is Sandra Beck, and I'm here with Robin Boyd, and we are halfway through the show already. So if you would like to hear more shows like this, specific for the military family, check us out on iTunes. You can go to our host station, TogiNet, TogiNet.com, to find this and 200 plus hours. I think, Rob, we're almost up to 300 hours. I have to check. And you can also go to our military-mom-talk-radio.com website to find this and other great shows like it. Now, we're visiting today with Dr. Lori Shemek. I started with Dr. Lori because I got a copy of her book last year when it came out from a publisher to review, and it made sense to me. It made sense to me after all the different diets I've tried that didn't work for me, not because there was anything necessarily wrong with these programs. It just didn't make sense to me. Now, this made sense to me because I am a 40-something woman, a single mom with 2 kids. I care for my 80-year-old dad. I am soul supporting. So everything I purchase, like when I look at, supplements or I look at programs, I'm sorry, Rob, I cannot afford one of these national programs is $500 a month. Another one is $300 a month. And I know they say, oh, but what do you spend in food? Well, I don't spend a fortune in food. We eat eggs and oatmeal, and, we buy the food that's at the market down the street, the farmer's market. So I'm not spending $300 a month at food. So this isn't saving me money. But I also came from a history of eating disorders when I was young, and I know the bad things, but I just needed something simple, something I could get up in the morning and do that wasn't going to cost me a fortune. And it made sense from the eating disorder standpoint. It made sense from the health standpoint, from the diabetes standpoint. I'm the child of 2 diabetics. What a shock. It needed to make sense health-wise too. I just didn't want another fad.
Absolutely. And it's so curious when somebody looks at the title of this book, How to Fight Fatflammation. Dr. Lori, tell us a little bit what that definition is of fatflammation.
Well, just quickly, there's 3 different types of inflammation, and then there's the kind where you cut your finger, for example, and the body sends soldiers to heal it, and it's a sprained ankle, or it's acute, but it goes away essentially. Okay, and yet it's painful, and it's there. I call it loud inflammation. Okay, because it gets your attention. So the other type is called silent inflammation, and silent inflammation you don't know is there. Its very name suggests danger because it's there. 75% of all Americans have it, and they don't even know it, in fact. So silent inflammation is the core cause of most illness, aging, and weight gain as well. So, most and disease like diabetes or heart disease and things of that nature. So you want to be really careful about your diet, because it is the diet that actually promotes optimal health for you. Exercising, no. It's fine. I highly recommend it. It's part of the plan that I have, but it is the diet in every case in terms of optimal health that is your key. Okay, not just a weight loss. Okay, so the third type of inflammation is what I call fatflammation. It's the silent inflammation of fat cells, and our fat cells are like little factories that's when we're overweight that spew out inflammatory molecules, and this has a metabolic effect that slows down the metabolism, and it becomes a vicious cycle, because with these inflammatory molecules slowing down the metabolism, that means you're packing on more fat, bloating the fat cell, and it's also being bloated with sugar, whatever, the types of food you're eating that produce compounds that are also stored within the fat cell itself. So that is fatflammation in a nutshell. And if you think about having 100 billion of them throughout your body, then you can understand the powerful impact that it has on our weight.
Well, and I'm living proof, Dr. Lori. I have a Fitbit, and I love my Fitbit because it buzzes. It makes me get up during the day because as a computer tech,
good.
I sit a lot and I lose track of time. So I have it set to buzz. You get 6 alarms a day. So I have it set to buzz 6 times a day to remind me to get up and move. And then I make sure I get like at least 1,000 steps each time I move. And I can track all this on my Fitbit. There's lots of great trackers out there. I just happen to use Fitbit. But I will tell you, over the last month, I've averaged 11,000 to 15,000 steps a day. Now, you would think when people hear that, they go, okay, you should be losing weight or at least be fit and trim. And I'm here to tell you that exercise alone isn't enough. I've had to really change my eating because, Lori, that's a lot. That's anywhere from 5 to 10 miles sometimes, or 5 to 8 miles, whatever it is, a day.
Well, we now know through research that exercise is critical for your optimal health. But in terms of weight loss, I can't count how many people have come to me and said, Dr. Lori, I'm doing, an hour on the treadmill every day. I'm exhausted. I'm frustrated. I don't know what to do. What else can I do? And I give them the correct type of exercise to do that really facilitates fat loss. And it's the longer traditional cardio is excellent for your health. Absolutely. But it can also cause inflammation, a slight dose of inflammation as well. That's why Dr. Kenneth Cooper, for example, the doctor of aerobics, actually recommends that people take antioxidants when they go over a half an hour in endurance exercise. So there is a way to do it. It's not easier, but it does promote effective fat loss for people.
Well, and I'm here to just talk to, a lot of these moms that are in my peer group. We've got young kids. We're juggling. The one thing that the exercise does for me, Dr. Lori, is it gives my frustration somewhere to go. So I'm not screaming at the kids. Like, I can tell you, without doing my walking, like it's just walking or going up and down the stairs, I pick up the toys, I pick up the clothes, I run them up and down the stairs. I try to get my steps in and make them count because we've got to double up. But what it does is it brings my frustration level down. Anyone with small children has daily frustration. It brings my stress level down, and I do my steps for my mental health. I know it probably helps my physical health too, but that's like my mental health relief.
That's fantastic. That is accurate. In fact, exercise is the number one prescription, by the way, that's free, typically, to create better mental health in your life. So those that are depressed, and this is the kicker though, if you're depressed, you really don't want to exercise. So getting somebody who's depressed, even with low-level depression, to work out is difficult. But if they do it, and they're consistent with it, it is remarkable in its effects. Really.
Well, and when I had my postpartum depression, the one thing, I didn't go to the gym. I wouldn't do any of these things. And I still kind of resist going to the gym. Mm-hmm. But I decided I was just going to move, and that's where my fitness tracker came in. Because at first I was just going to get 2,000 steps. Like, that was a big deal for me because I was getting 1,000 at the time. I was sitting in nursing, I was sitting in folding laundry, I was sitting on a lot, and then sitting and working. But you just start. You don't have to go to the gym. You don't have to buy a DVD. You don't even need a fit thing. Just get up and walk, because your butt grows roots and you just feel bad, and you can start feeling better that day just by moving.
Right. And simply doing 10 squats it takes 10 seconds. And you're utilizing the largest muscles in your body that promote the most fat burn.
Well, and can I tell you that my favorite apps, and then I'm going to throw the mic over to Rob because I've been kind of hogging this segment. My favorite apps are these. You can buy them for $4.99 on iTunes. I don't know what the equivalent is, but they have these 30-day crunch, 30-day sit-up, 30-day plank, 30-day squat, 30-day push-up. You start with one the first day, and then the next day, you do 2, and then you do 3. And it's fun because it gives you a little reminder. I can do it in the morning or the night because it's right there on my phone. Because if you can check Facebook on your phone, you can check these things. And if you just click the button saying send me a reminder, it comes up on the screen just like a text, because I need something idiot proof, Dr. Lori. I get so involved in the day, I don't even remember to do my 10 sit-ups, just 10.
Are you drinking your water?
No, I've got to do a water tracker.
Yes, you do.
That. Because, we run, Dr. Lori and Rob, you know this from having small kids. I am shot out of a cannon at 6 a.m. in the morning, and I don't think about myself again, sometimes till 10 o'clock at night. That's very real.
And that's very typical. That is very typical of mothers who are busy with their children. And so that app, you mentioning that app, is going to be a godsend to them.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, now we need a water app, something that says, hey, don't drink.
They're out there. They're actually coming out with a water bottle that you buy and measures the amount of water, that you have in your bottle and how much you've had to drink. But it also has a timer on it so that it has a little jingle, when it's time for you to drink water. So
all of these little gadgets and gizmos, I love it. We're not going to spend the money on the food and the quick fast food. We're going to spend it on all the technology.
Right.
Exactly. All the gizmos. We have another break coming up, Dr. Lori, but I want to talk a little bit on the other side of taking care of those cravings to get us started. And especially, I know the military families find this so often, is that it's all well and good to set us up into a system, but when you're in the military and all of a sudden your schedule and your life changes suddenly, you don't always have that consistency. You might start something and 4 months later, oh my gosh, I've got to move, or oh my gosh, we have a different, we've got a change in our family life. So having the kind of go-to, because there again, those cravings are going to pop up, and we're just going to, like Sandra said, we want to go to those things, but we have to get ourselves to that level where those cravings can be abated and we can just get them under control. So on the other side of the break, let's talk a little bit about some first steps. I think, of course, the first step is going out and buying the book. But the next step, maybe we can talk about a couple of those little tips that we can get ourselves. There again, convenience is our nemesis. Whatever is the most convenient for a busy family is what we always fall to. So finding those little hacks, I guess, is the term that people have been using these days, these little life hacks.
The hack word.
I know it. Let's see if we can't get up a couple of those starter points so that we can get everybody on the right track. We're talking with Dr. Lori Shemek today. Her book is How to Fight Fatflammation. We'll be back in a moment right here on Military Mom Talk Radio. We've got lots more ahead. Stay with us on Military Mom Talk Radio.
Is there more living for you to do? Yes. Start living inspired. Be here for Living Inspired with Tricia Goyer, Thursday afternoons at 4, 3 p.m. Central on TogiNet.com. Tricia will dig deep into topics that matter most to women, inspiring women to make a change in their own lives and to make a difference in the world, and maybe even deep within their own hearts. Tricia is a wife, mom, speaker, family expert, and author of 24 books. For more information on Tricia and Living Inspired, go to her website, TriciaGoyer.com. That's TriciaGoyer.com. Tricia's vision is to be the voice of hope and possibility for women of all ages. Her intention is to serve ordinary women by encouraging extraordinary things with God's help. Tricia expresses real life, real hope for real women. Is there more living for you to do? Yes. Start living inspired. Living Inspired with Tricia Goyer. Thursday afternoons at 4, 3 p.m. Central on TogiNet.com.
Have you heard? The pages of American Patchwork and Quilting magazine come to life on our new weekly online radio show, American Patchwork and Quilting. Join Pat Sloan, our blogging and quilt designer host, as she talks about the latest trends, ideas, and inspirations. Her guests include quilt pattern designers, authors, quilt shop owners, and our editors, all quilters, just like you. Call in with your questions. Get quilting tips from industry experts. Learn about free patterns. Hear behind-the-scenes stories from our magazines, American Patchwork and Quilting, Quilt Sampler, and Quilts and More. Get the scoop on free stuff and find out more about the best independent quilt shops in North America. To listen to a live show, tune in Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern. Just log on to allpeoplequilt.com/radio. To hear past shows, go to iTunes and search for American Patchwork and Quilting Radio. We hope you'll join us because we know that quilting changes everything.
We're back with more great conversation on Military Mom Talk Radio. We're back with more great conversation on Military Mom Talk Radio.
Hey, guys and dolls, this is Sandra Beck, and it's Military Mom Talk Radio with Robin Boyd, and we're visiting with Dr. Lori Shemek. Now, Rob, you've got some questions about cravings. I'm not a craving person. I don't really have cravings unless it's like 9 o'clock at night and I did my usual skip breakfast, skip lunch, eat a huge dinner, and then,
That's
want
hunger.
right. Yes. And then I crave chocolate at like 9 o'clock at night. Not a lot, just a piece of it. So that's the biggest craving that I deal with. I more deal with time balance, which we can talk about later. But Rob, you want to address cravings, which I think is really important.
Well, I do, because we've got to get started with this program. And I think the biggest trouble that we all have, and I have to say, I'm using my husband as a good example. He just has this sugar craving. He's been trying to stop smoking for years. And in replacement of the cigars has been the sugar. And he'll pop lozenges or Tic Tacs or mints or Altoids or anything that he can put in there for that oral fixation. But the sugar, he just really craves a lot of sugar. Where do we start, Dr. Lori? How do we get over those cravings?
Right. That you're not alone. The majority of Americans are addicted to sugar, and the food manufacturers know that. They add sugar to almost every product out there. And that's what's setting us up for this vicious cycle of sugar addiction. So what you want to do is, first of all, look at what you're putting into your body, okay? Make sure once you decide, okay, I'm getting off sugar, no more Tic Tacs or whatever, I recommend two approaches, a combination of two things. One of them is to take two supplements that are very important. And one is called chromium picolinate, and at least 200 micrograms or 400 micrograms, depending on the severity of your sugar cravings or carbohydrate cravings, and 150 milligrams of alpha lipoic acid. Those two in combination will balance your blood sugar, and cravings will be gone within 3 days. They are manageable if they rear their ugly head. They are very effective. I was addicted to sugar. I used this long time ago when I was in school, and this is how I got off sugar, by eating the right foods and doing this. The other issue is what you can do, okay? So ask yourself, am I really hungry? And most of the time, it's a big fat no. Now, like, Sandra was hungry. She thought it was a big old craving, right, at the end of the day, but it was just hunger. Also, make sure that you're drinking water. The majority of people are mildly dehydrated, and they don't even know it. And so the brain confuses thirst for hunger because it's in the same area of the brain. So if you ever find yourself standing in front of the refrigerator going, I'm hungry for something, I just don't know what it is. So you close the refrigerator, you open up the cupboard, you do the same thing, and you just take something because that's what you feel like you need to do. That's a sign you're probably mildly dehydrated. Okay. And then you want to stop the train. You want to stop that relentless train, if you will, of I've got to have that whatever's in the house, or that, that candy bar, or that chunky monkey in the freezer. you need to look for a distraction. And so what I have people do is, it's an old technique, is to put a rubber band on your wrist if you're trying to get off sugar, and you snap it at the time of the craving for sugar, for example. Ooh. Then you get up and leave the environment that the craving occurred in. So the combination of those two things works very well. And then and can I add one more thing in there that I do, Dr. Lori? I know this isn't in your book, but I will say to myself, I hate you, mean old sugar. You're not going to control me. And I really... I love that. A fight with sugar because it's the sugar controlling me, not me. So you got to kind of acknowledge it and say, go away, stupid sugar. Like, I hate you. Or I don't have to be hateful, but you know what I'm saying? Right. Like, no, I love that. That's a great tip. Yeah. Because this is what we want. We want to control the food, not the other way around. Yeah. That's what you ultimately are striving for. Well, and I will say I'm going to be the test monkey here because I really did do this program and I still do lots of it, on a regular basis, is that if you can stick it out for 3 days, like when I go back, like on my program, like I call it, Lori, when I go back on the program, I know for the first 3 days, I'm going to have some pretty wicked sugar cravings. I might have some headaches depending on, what I've been doing prior to this. But when I get back on the wagon, I don't do those 3 days on days that I know I've got crazy days with the kids. If they're manageable days in my schedule, that's when I choose to start them because I found I'm not going to set myself up to fail. Like if I have, 4 presentations, 2 radio shows, and a partridge in a pear tree, I am not going to try to get back on my program that day. I'm going to pick, a lot of times I'll pick a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sometimes when the kids are with their dad, when I know I can go and book walking dates with my girlfriends, go to the bookstore, get my mind off things to help me have the best success I can. Because if I don't do that, I'm setting myself up to fail, and that feels even worse. Exactly. And and what we're talking about here today is not expensive. Okay, we're talking about doing things that do not cost a lot of money that are very, very manageable. Like green tea, for example. Green tea cuts cravings. So if you feel a craving, if you can hang in there after you've had your water, make some green tea, and then you're good to go. It's really amazing how well water works, in fact. Well, and also tricking yourself. Like, here's another of my tricks. Like, if I really want something like an almond joy, and Lori, I want you to give your almond joy recipe that's on your website. But if I really want an almond joy, which was my mom's favorite, I go to it when I'm sad and I miss her. I go to it when I'm PMSing. Like, that's my go-to. And I don't want to eat like 4 of them. I will say, I make a promise to myself. I'm like, all right, if you clean your bathroom, and I'm talking clean the sink, clean the toilet and thing, you can have an almond joy. And I do that, and then if I really still need it after that point, I will have it because I cleaned my bathroom and got some exercise, but most of the time it goes away. Yeah, isn't that that is the truth? It usually goes away. They usually only last for about 5 minutes. So it takes about that long after you drink the water for the craving to go away. But you have to hang in there. And that's so what you resist persists, as the saying goes. So you're taking care of yourself. You're saying, okay, I did this. I'm in control here. And if I want it, hey, it's not going to kill me. It's fine every once in a while. And there you go. But yeah, the almond joy recipe is so good. It is, what you do is you melt chocolate and you pour melted chocolate over about 4 almonds, and you make little bundles on a baking sheet. And then while the melted chocolate is still hot, you add coconut on top of that. And it's really wonderful. It's healthy. It helps promote weight loss. And it's like candy. Oh, it is. And the more you do it, the less, I will tell you, the more you reduce sugar from your diet, the more sensitive you become to it. Things you'll be like, oh my God, I didn't have ice cream, Lori, for the longest time. And because it was my dad's birthday recently, we had ice cream on the cake. And I ate it and I was like, oh my gosh, that is so sweet. Now I could have eaten a bucket of that before.
Yeah, isn't it true how you just finally curb you think you want, and it's just, you don't need that much anymore, and that's wonderful. Before the show comes to an end, Dr. Lori, and one of the things that everybody needs to find on Dr. Lori's website are her 1-minute tips, which are fascinating. And it being the cold season, and me just getting over one, which is why I'm struggling with trying to not cough in your ear, is you've got a wonderful little 1-minute video about fighting colds, and you have 3 ingredients or 3 components to these tips, which I found really interesting.
Yeah, so the first one is zinc lozenges. Zinc lozenges are fantastic in terms of stopping the replication of the cold virus that sets up right there at the base of the throat. So but you have to be vigilant about it. You have to do it, suck on this lozenge every 2 hours. Get one without sugar. Try to make sure it's with stevia, because sugar feeds bad bacteria. Okay, they love it, and it dampens your immune system. So suck on that every 2 hours during your waking hours without fail. Okay, and then oil of oregano is another one that is highly effective, and it too is an antiviral, antibacterial, and does just wonders for your health and for your cold, to eliminate it. And then the other one is elderberry extract. Excellent, not just for colds, but for flu. And kids love it because it tastes so good, as opposed to the oil of oregano, which, you know what oregano smells like. You can only imagine what the concentrated oil version is of it. So, yeah, but the zinc lozenges, the oil of oregano, and the elderberry extract is fantastic.
Can you put those like in a salad dressing? Are they too strong?
It's too strong, yeah. Now, the elderberry extract, you can actually make, you can put it into liquid for sure. You can put it in water. You can put it into any type of smoothie that you want. So elderberry extract is fantastic. Kids love it. Adults love it. Kids love it. Yeah.
We're going to definitely, and how interesting you said that not the sugar, because that actually fuels. How did you word it?
It does.
We've got 1 minute,
sugar
Dr.
feeds
Lori.
bacteria. It feeds viruses. Sugar is one of the things we didn't get to today, but it really harms your digestive health, and that's directly linked to your weight gain and optimal health as well.
Gosh. Thank you so much, Dr. Lori.
Well,
Lori
thank
Shemek.
you.
Oh, wonderful. Her
Thank
website
you.
again, Dr. Lori Shemek, and that's DrLoriShemek.com. And also, you want to find her book. It's on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, How to Fight Fatflammation. Have a great week, everyone, and stay healthy. Thanks for spending time with us today on Military Mom Talk Radio. We've got more than 200 episodes available to you anytime on iTunes or at our website, militarymomtalkradio.com. Find us on Facebook or Twitter. We look forward to another great conversation